The world you live in is shaped by ideas that traveled farther than you think. The way you see religion, philosophy, and even life itself isn't just local, it's global. But have you ever considered how a single idea from a distant land could rewrite the culture of an entire civilization? Or how a foreign faith could not just survive but thrive in a land dominated by its own ancient traditions? Buddhism's arrival in China wasn't just a religious shift, it was a cultural revolution. Let's dive into the moment that changed history. Picture this, it's the year 68 CE, and China is under the rule of Emperor Ming of Han, a guy who's all about stability, expansion, and apparently vivid dreams. One night, he dreams of a golden figure floating above his palace, glowing like the latest iPhone under store lighting. Confused but intrigued, he turns to his advisors, who suggest this vision might be connected to a wise sage from the West, none other than the Buddha. Now, whether this dream actually happened or was just a clever way to justify importing new religious ideas, we'll never know. But what we do know is that Emperor Ming sent envoys westward, and before long, two Buddhist monks from Central Asia, Kasyapa and Dharmaratna, arrived in China, bringing sacred texts and statues. These monks didn't just stroll into town with a couple of pamphlets, they carried an entire belief system. Emperor Ming, probably thinking, might as well make it official, granted them a temple in Luoyang, the now famous White Horse Temple, named after the literal white horses that hauled Buddhist scriptures across the Silk Road. This wasn't just a spiritual moment, it was a cultural crossover event bigger than the latest blockbuster franchise. But adopting a foreign religion isn't as simple as hitting install. Buddhism had to blend with China's existing philosophies, Confucianism and Daoism, both of which had been running the show for centuries. Confucians were skeptical because Buddhism encouraged people to ditch family life for meditation, kind of a hard sell in a culture that revolved around family loyalty. Taoists, on the other hand, were both intrigued and territorial. Some borrowed Buddhist meditation techniques, while others saw Buddhism as an existential threat, like rival influencers battling for the same niche. Then there was the language problem. Early Buddhist translators had to get creative since classical Chinese had no words for concepts like karma or nirvana. The first Buddhist text translated into Chinese, the Sutra of 42 Chapters, was basically the spiritual equivalent of a highlights reel, making Buddhism easier for locals to digest. Over time, as translation efforts improved, Buddhism started gaining serious traction, appealing to scholars, monks, and everyday people alike. But like any foreign trend, Buddhism faced resistance. Some rulers cracked down on it, seeing it as a potential political threat. Yet every time it was pushed to the margins, it came back stronger, evolving to fit Chinese traditions. By the time the Tang Dynasty rolled around, Buddhism wasn't just surviving, it was thriving. It had inspired art, literature, philosophy, and even politics, proving that sometimes the most unexpected ideas can reshape entire civilizations. I'll leave you to discuss in the comments. How do you think Buddhism managed to adapt so seamlessly to Chinese culture? Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Take care of yourselves, take care of your loved ones, and I'll catch you soon in another video.